What's up, everybody? This is Matt Brown with another IoT hacking video. Today, we are going to give Claude Code access to one of my favorite hardware hacking tools over on my workbench, my logic analyzer. And we're going to see if it can one-shot a CTF challenge that I recently encountered at an awesome conference, DistrictCon. Big shout out. And if using logic analyzers is something you would like to learn more about, you would like to brush up on, check the link down in the description because I have just released my first training course that is all on analyzing digital signals using logic analyzers. With that, let's head over to the workbench and look at the badge and see the challenge that is on it. So this is the badge. I can like show you the other side of it too, but we're mainly going to be accessing a signal that is located on the back side of this PCB. And so we are going to be using my trusty Logic MSO, which has Python APIs that allow us to programmatically interact with this device, both taking live captures and to analyze captures that have been taken in the past. So on this board, if we zoom in real tight there, you will see that right here, there is a pin that has the words sniffy spot right next to it. So that is to indicate that there was a badge challenge on this interface. Now, at the conference, I was actually involved in a separate CTF, and so I didn't get to interact with the badge challenge during the conference, and so I was playing around with this and thought this would be a good exercise to let AI solve this challenge for us. And so what we're gonna do is taking it back out a little bit. So my logic analyzer, I've got my probe here, my set of probe connectors, and I have one of my PC Byte probes. So people always ask where you can find these spring-loaded probes that help me connect to devices without soldering them. You can check the link in the description of this video, and I will have an Amazon link to these guys. And so what we're gonna do, and let's see this in action here. So why I like these is because instead of having to solder onto this pad, you'll see there's this spring-loaded pogo pin that allows us to get a solid connection to that test pad. That is the sniffy spot. So, and then I have this connected, it does, have this battery that we can power it with, but I am powering it over USB-C because that will allow me to very easily turn it on and off again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head over here to the Logic 2 software. That is the software that interfaces with our Logic MSO. It can also interface with much cheaper logic analyzers that you can find out there on Amazon. I have a link to one of those $10, $15 logic analyzers also down in the description. So today I'm going to turn off all of the channels on my digital probe except for channel 0. Only going to need one today. And let's go ahead and start recording. And then I'm going to switch on the device. And it does, okay, actually I'm going to clear out that little blip that was caused by me just powering the device on. So what's already interesting about this signal is I can already tell it's probably not traditional UART. And you'd say, well, you haven't seen anything yet. How do you know that? Well, because, and we go over this in our training course, UART by default, just following the standards, the norms that are out there, idles high. And then the start bit goes low as a transition from high to low. But here we see that the data is idling low and goes high. And this is extremely slow. If you are used to digital signals, you will sense that that was an extremely slow signal that just passed us by there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop, and we're going to look at the signal that we just captured. And there's already something that just kind of catches my eye, that this is something's not quite right. like I said, it's really slow, and there seem to be some organized, two different lengths of differences here between the transition points. So let's go ahead and look at that. So if we were thinking that this was a traditional UART signal, the first thing I would do is I would go in to one of these the smallest transition point here, and I'd hover my cursor over, and you'll see kind of a little bit, the tooltip always jumps around in this software. I wish it would just stay right by the mouse, but I understand why they don't put it right by the mouse. So it's up there in kind of the upper right-hand corner. It says width is 20 hertz. Now you might be confused at first, because usually you're used to seeing like kilohertz. But no, that means that there can be 20 of these symbols transmitted in 1 second, instead of like hundreds of thousands, which is what we're kind of used to with typical UART baud rates and stuff like that. And so already we're looking at something weird, and I was messing around with this the other day, and I had a hypothesis that this was Morse code. And I tried to test my hypothesis, and I was like, but I don't know how to validate if it was true or not. And then I was recording the video where we dumped the firmware on this same badge. And you might have noticed that I had this realization live while I was recording that video that my hypothesis was true. And I'll show you I might have given it away, but I'll show you the string that I saw in this firmware dump that led me to believe that my hypothesis was true. So we were started to look at the legitimate strings here, and I saw this string right here. And I saw this string, and I was like, I knew it. I was right. And so that's just some context to how I'm validating that we're going to decode this correctly. Okay, so no, and you feel a wave of excitement, and then there's this string in the firmware file. Let's go back to the signal, and I'm going to bring this little Morse code translator down here. So if we consider these signals to be either longs or shorts, right? So this is a short, and this is a long in Morse code. I'm not a Morse code expert, by the way, so there's probably better terminology. So this would be 3 long, and then this, and then this right here where it goes low for the long amount of time. That means that's like a different symbol, right? So I could go 3 long. That's an O. Okay, I'm gonna hit space. Now we have 3 short, 2 long. So 3 short, 2 long. O3. I'm not going to decode the whole thing, but you get the idea. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5 short. Let's do a couple more. This is 2 long, 3 short. 2 long, 3 short. And then 5 long. There you go. This is O. This is not a 0, by the way. O3570. From the firmware, O3570. So I was able to validate that from the firmware dump that I was on the right track, and that it is actually Morse code. But I said in this video we were going to have AI do this. So let's give AI a chance to solve this same problem. So the question, though, is how are we going to let it get its claws into this data, right? Let's get rid of this. How are we going to let it access this stuff right here? So there is a cool feature in this latest version of the Soli Logic Analyzer that has a Python integration here. It has an API that allows us both to do live captures and to look at saved and exported captures of signals, and to query that signal, the properties of that signal in this Python API, right? And so specifically, what we're going to use here is we're going to export it as a binary file, and then we're going to use this Python API. But I'm not going to do that manually, because I have written a new skill in my IoTHackBot tool set here that is a set of Claude skills. So Claude Code has this concept called skills that you can load custom tooling and API descriptions into the context window when it is needed. And so it helps you do, manage your context window, token usage, and all that stuff. And so I have just committed here a logic MSO skill, and it's a really big, it's got a Python, it's got some other, helper scripts. It's basically just a markdown description of how to use this Python API. And so the cool thing that we can do now is first, let's fire up here in our directory. Let's fire up super Claude, which is just me bypassing all permissions because I totally trust Claude Code and let it have full access to my system. So we're going to go /skills and we're going to list out all the skills I have. So I recently re-architected the IoTHackBot repository. Instead of being just a collection of skills, it's now technically a plugin that loads all of these skills in any session, in anywhere I start a Claude Code session on my computer, which is kind of convenient. So I've talked about some of these before, but the one that we're going to use today is the Logic MSO skill, which is loaded and ready to go. But first we need to export this file. And so here I've got everything in the window. And the reason why that's important is because there's two different export options. So we're going to export raw data, and you can say the time range. You can limit it to, so we're just going to say the visible screen, or you can say the entire time of the capture. But for now, we're just going to do this. And there's only one channel, which is good. We're going to select a binary format, and then we're going to hit export. And I'm going to go into this firmware directory here, which I'm in. And I'm going to just call this, capture.bin. All right, so now over here, we should see this capture file, right? Which is it's just binary data that the Logic MSO tooling, the GUI, and the Python API, they know this file format. So now I can say, hey, use your Logic MSO skill to understand what this signal is. I'm not even gonna, it solves it way faster, by the way, if you tell it was from a CTF challenge, but I'm going to purposely not give it that extra bit of context and see if it can just look at the signal and tell me what it is. So while we're letting this run, we'll watch it in a little bit. Big shout out, because I posted this yesterday on X and on LinkedIn, and Adafruit actually mentioned this in their blog, which is kind of cool. So thanks, guys. So yeah, it says Logic MSO is a Claude Code skill which can analyze digital and analog captures from the Soli Logic MSO devices. So yeah, thank you for the shout out. And yeah, I just posted images yesterday of this. I hadn't recorded a video yet, so that's coming now. All right, let's see how it's doing. All right, cool. Look at this. It's already identifying parts of the signal. It says the signal has exactly two timing values, 50 ms and 150 ms, right? That's what we see here. So this small timing here, you can see how it says like 49.97 up there, ms for the short, and then the long distance is about 150. And so it has identified that. And so let's go back here and say, okay, raw transitions. Okay, yeah, this is cool. See, if you don't tell it's a CTF problem, it's trying like different, more common signals first. Okay, it's characteristic of pulse width modulation. That's, yeah, we're not, that is not on the right track. All right, so it's pivoting. It's given like different output, every time. It's gone down a different path every time. So obviously, if you can give it more context, then that's always going to be better. But let's just see if it comes around to the Morse code concept, because that's not something you'd usually see in a digital signal on like a test pad, right? This is very uncommon for it to see. Hey, now we're on the right track. Morse code produces a coherent decode. Let me verify and clean this up. Now, this is the crazy cool part, because it starts using like all this, like these Python libraries for translating signals into Morse code, and so here we go. Morse code produces a coherent decode. Yes, it does. So just to remember, aha, there we go. Look at that. Our decoded message is exactly correct. And here it's individually, it's got those dots and dashes, right? And it's got the character that corresponds to it. And there it is. The answer to our CTF challenge, one-shotted by AI when it has access to some hardware hacking tools. So this is just a fun skill, and I can say that I've already started using this, and on a project that I can't talk about, it was also able to identify I²C. It was able to identify like a clock and a data line, and it was able to decode. So this skill is not just a toy, it's actually helped me to decode real signals in the wild during my IoT pentest adventures. And so if this stuff is maybe new to you, looking at logic, digital logic signals like this, I would encourage you to check out the training in the link below. And there is a coupon code to get you 10% off of that training. So definitely be sure to use that coupon code in the checkout page. Thank you and have a good day.